Hey fans, Ray Bailey here with my weekly update. Sleep is going very well. We're progressing really awesome through the second draft right now. A lot of new things have come up as the story takes shape. As you can see, I'm doing my video blog in my kilt. Aside from being part of my heritage, it's also a good way to connect with a post-apocalyptic epic fantasy. One of the things I wanted to talk about today is the language of the magi. The magi who can take their will and make it reality. One of the things I wanted to be able to do is give them the ability to imbue weapons and armor and write spells. But in order to do that, I had to invent a language. Now, their power, the source of their power, comes from these crystals that have appeared after the world has died. The language is a runic script called cuneiform. It comes from the same place. In creating it, I had to create something that almost worked like a programming language. Its format is a little different. It is written bottom to top, right to left, almost like a Japanese script in the ways that it's set up in rows. That's part of the format of how the language is written and allows them to apply it. The reason, or how the language works very specifically, is it allows them to shape their will using these symbols both mentally and on objects like armor. So in creating this, I had to come up with a structure for the language. So the first thing I covered with was intent. We have a set of symbols that specify intent. What's the intent of this thing that we're doing, or the spell that we're doing? Is it armor? Is it destruction? Is it transportation? Is it seeing? Is it control? What kind of intent comes with this particular block or spell? The next one is the target. What is the target? So there are different script runes for self-targeting, targeting the enemy, the mental target, all hostile, all passive, or everybody in an area. Then comes, what are we doing with that? Is it an elemental spell? Are we using fire or lightning? How are we engaging this particular spell? Then comes a decision system, because if you're going to have a spell, you've got to be able to decide. If I'm going to have an armor spell, if something hits me with 10 pounds of kinetic force or greater, then I want to stop it. But if it's somebody who's just poking me, I don't. So there needs to be a decision system or evaluation system. If the pound pressure is greater than 10 or greater than 15, then the spell will enact or the property will enact. I also have what's called focuser runes. In cuneiform, there are specific symbols that allow the magi to focus their power. So when enacting their will, they can think about something, but the focuser rune actually allows them to get greater distance and use less power for that particular spell piece. Then there's diffusers. In the book, there are people who are not gifted, but have discovered ways to imbue armor and imbue weapons with the ability to diffuse a magi's power. If I were a magi and I were fighting a soldier and I decided I wanted to push that soldier, well, if his armor is imbued with the diffuser rune, then I would not be able to push him. So it levels the playing field a little bit with people who are trying to fight these magi. So that's kind of where my update is. The characters are going good, the societies are going good, the politics are awesome. It's going to be action-packed and a lot of fun. I think next week we'll probably cover guilds. So I hope to see you back here then. Don't forget, Vengeance comes out early September in the Shadow War Chronicles. So if you haven't, go grab Revenant in Jamestown and get ready for Vengeance. Talk to you guys next week. Hope you have a good week.